The Prime Minister was on the breakfast show this morning talking about what this government is bringing in Sanctions 2.0 for beneficiaries. We have got with us Kay Brereton. Kay works at the Beneficiaries and Unwaged Workers Trust. She is a part of the National Beneficiary Advocates Consultative Group, a group of experts on welfare issues which regularly consults with the Ministry of Social Development. And Kay joins us right now. Good evening, Kay.
Kira, thank you for having me.
No, you are absolutely welcome. We often say on this show, Kay, we like being the dumbest people in the room. We like to bring people in who know far more than us to educate us all. So thank you for coming on today.
I'm pleased to be here.
Could you
So
tell
what
us
would
to
you
start,
like me to tell you?
Yeah, could you tell us to start off with? Are we right that this is Sanctions 2.0, or is this just the starting off of the sanctions they talked about in May?
This is scaremongering 2.0. So
Okay.
at the moment, the law hasn't changed. But this has really got people scared today because they don't know this whole traffic light thing, which I'm pretty sick of traffic lights. I'm sure everyone else is. They don't know who it applies to. It's actually just created a whole lot of panic and nothing has changed so far.
So you obviously work as an advocate with people on the beneficiaries. What are you hearing from the so-called coalface as to what people are saying who are the recipients of the benefit, hearing about these potential sanctions?
People are feeling really confused because there's a whole lot of benefits that don't have work obligations on them. If you're on a job seeker but you've got a full medical certificate, you don't have any work obligations. If you're on a supported living payment, so you're too unwell to work, you don't have work obligations. If you're a sole parent, your youngest is under 3, you don't have work obligations. But apparently the traffic light thing applies to everyone, so people are going, my God, I'm on supported living payment. What are my obligations? I've got a green light. What does that mean? Are they going to ask me to do more? So it's that kind of confusion that's really kicking in for people. And there's a lot of people who are new to benefit because we're in a recession. More and more people are going on benefit. The government knows that. And so those people, they're feeling really anxious. So increased anxiety, confusion is what I'm hearing at the moment.
We will play the, because there's a bit of a delay here, I think we'll just chat and then we'll play the Prime Minister's comments later on. We'll do that after we've had a chat with you. We're hearing in the conversation he had this morning phrases like hard-working Kiwi taxpayers. Do you think this government comes in and pitches beneficiaries as lesser than by using phrases like that? Because what I hear when he says hard-working Kiwi taxpayers is the good ones in society. How do you read that?
Absolutely, I think he's pitching it like that. And I mean, what we've actually got is out of work reserve labour force, absolutely essential for the economy, who have a lot of people churn on and off benefits. So these same people who are people on benefits, not in a job, not trying hard enough, they're the people who a couple of months ago were hardworking Kiwi taxpayers. The people on benefits are very much used as that reserve labour force. They come and go. They're the casuals. They're the 0 hours. They're the precariats. And it really sucks to beat up on them, frankly.
Chewy.
My wife and I have been watching a documentary tonight called The Land of Plenty from the early 2000s. And that basically covers off the changes in financial policy in the late 80s and early 90s. And the parallels that we drew out of that to what we're seeing now, that they wanted to cool down inflation, and the easiest, quickest way that they could do that was make a lot of people unemployed. And then there was a change in government, and that government punched down hard on everybody that was out of work. it's almost a repeat of the early 90s. And I remember that as being as someone who, as a teenager in the early 90s, being a terrifying, uncertain time. Is this just National Party policy working as intended?
Well, arguably it is, because it feels to me like they made changes last time they were in, and really they've just picked up where they let off, and they're going to carry on with their plan, which it's just kicking the people at the bottom. You know, it's not that people on benefits are on benefits because they think, oh, that'd be a choice lifestyle. I want to live on $300 a week, and my life will be great. They're on benefit because they're sick, because they're caring for someone else, because some major life shock has happened, which could be being made redundant. And you'll meet a whole lot of people over 50 who'll tell you once you're over 50 in the job market, you're in the job market for a long time. And so there's those people. There's a whole lot of young people who've never even had a job. And I remember trying to get a job back in the day when I'd never had any experience in it, back when there were newspapers too, actually. And there'd just be endless ads, and they'd all be experience essential. And I remember how demoralizing that was. And I really feel for the 18 to 24-year-olds, because that's where they want to put the most of their effort. And they're already in a really demoralizing spot. It's already really hard. You don't know what to do. Going around knocking on doors and handing out your CV isn't the way to get a job these days. So, yeah, it's people who are on benefit looking for jobs, they really need to be boosted up. They need people to say, hey, you can do it. Hey, you gave it your best shot. We're going to get even further next time. And just tell them they're doing well. And unfortunately, that's not what Work and Income is good at.
No.
Listening to this government, there seems to be a lot of stick and no carrot. I wonder, what should we do? Like, if you were given the ministerial position for Work and Income New Zealand, or to look after beneficiaries, what would you implement to make people who are on the benefit still be able to live safe, happy, lives, and also the government be able to check the boxes they need to check for what they need to do to stay within their budget, should that be a thing?
That becomes incredibly idealistic. I mean, frankly, I'd like to see a basic income for everyone, and then just to be adding on to that where people needed it. There's so much admin in the system. There's so much box checking. That costs more money than the system costs. The administration of all of this costs so much. So I'd take away a whole lot of the boxes. I'd trust people. I meet people every day who are on benefit. They are good people. They are trustworthy people. They just want to do their best. And they don't get given any credit for that. No one even really sees them as people while you're on a benefit, let alone going, hey, in 6 months you won't be in the same place. And how do we work with you in a positive way, always saying always agreeing that you're doing your best on that day, because we do. A system that does that and lifts people up and treats them with dignity and respect is what I would want to see first off as a minister if I was there.
Yeah, that word dignity doesn't seem to evoke itself out of this government by their actions, does it?
No, in every beneficiary consultation I've been involved in, dignity is the big thing people ask for. Dignity is more important than enough money to put food on the table, which they're not getting either. Dignity, just being treated like a person, just being treated with respect, that's really what people on benefit are asking for. Yeah.
That is Advocate Kay Brereton joining us tonight. Hey, Kay, thank you so much for joining us. I know the little delay gave us a bit of a hiccup, but very valuable insights, and we really appreciate your time.
That's cool. Thank you.
Cheers, Kay. All the best.
Thanks, Kay.
Yeah, there we go. I see Kiwi Bird in here is saying someone needs to say it. The government hates the disabled and the poor. Kiwi Bird also lets us know that They, is Kiwi Bird she? I always figured Kiwi Bird is a she. I don't know, but we don't know. They are on a supported living. Yes, I'm freaking out. Yeah, we heard it. I saw was it an email to me or a message? Maybe someone saying that they might be saying the job seeker at the moment, but next is supported living, next is sole parent. In fact, we heard Louise Upson talking about sole parents because I said last night, so what they're saying is parents, you can get out there and work, put your kids in a daycare centre, come off not better off financially because you're paying for that, and also your kids are sort of getting raised in a situation by someone else where you would prefer to do it yourself at home. Look, some people go out and work and they do it that way they want to. Others want to have their young kids at home with them because they want to do it that way. I think we should have the option for both, but what they're doing is they're forcing everyone into one path. And the one path that they're forcing the vulnerable into is the one path that they'll be worse off financially, or their households will be worse off, Chewy.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that unsurprisingly, I think National's got wrong. Luxon was trying to clarify his points earlier today, and I saw it reported that he was kind of trying to soften it by going, guys, there's not that many people that this is going to affect.
Yeah.
There's a relatively small amount of long-term uncooperative unemployed. So really, you're making a big thing out of nothing. And the first thing that I thought of was, if it's a relatively small amount, a tiny amount like he's suggesting, why the big stick?
Yeah, and why the expense? That means they're paying probably hundreds of millions of dollars to crack the whip for a small number. We always do this. When we look at, for example, just doing a universal basic income, which kind of Kay kind of hinted towards that universal everybody. When you spread things through everybody, yes, there are some people who get things that don't need it. We did this through COVID with that payment, but the cost of actually running a system like that is so much exponentially cheaper that those few who get caught up getting a handout or money or whatever that they don't need is still far less total money than trying to means test everyone into a box that they fit. So yeah, I think what Kay said about universal, she didn't say universal basic income, but that's what I heard when she talked about kind of the universal income to everybody, and that, yeah, that's solved then.
If we're talking about UBI, there's heaps of studies around worldwide now about UBI to various levels of government fuckery and effectiveness and that sort of thing. But ultimately, they come out and they find that this UBI, as you said, lower costs of administration, and the fact that most people do not want to just sit at home on their ass. They get bored. They feel the need for purpose, and they go out and do something. But what it does is it takes the stress off the day-to-day living, the just trying to make everything work. One of the things that I was watching in this Land of Plenty documentary is, again, the government at the time, they went to the University of Otago to say, hey, can you come up with basically like a good level shop, a mid-level shop, and a low-level shop, just so we can get a sense of what people of various incomes can afford. They didn't tell the university what they were going to do with that data, but the data was produced. They took that low level, the literal subsistence budget that someone would need to feed a family, and they reduced that by 20%, because their thinking was, if you could get that subsistence level through not working, then why would you work a low-wage job? So we actually have to bring that down below a livable point. Otherwise, people will just not work. Which is insane.